Okay, now we're gonna brush lacquer all over the bindings, correct? And hopefully touch up some of the scrapes on the top, back, and sides. But I think it's gonna take many passes.
Yeah, it's not like 2 coats and you're done. But
No.
if we tried to spray it with a, with a gun,
Yeah.
I think that we'd be dealing with so much overspray and build issues that it would just be, it probably wouldn't go very well. So putting the initial lacquer on the bindings with a brush allows us to establish a little bit of a layer on it before we start using the airbrush to feather into the body of the instrument. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
what
I think
was
at some time
We'll
we'll
have
have
to
to use this. We'll have to spray it.
Yeah,
But
but if we do this multiple times, then sand it back and do like a top coat with airbrushing, we should have minimal build on the soundboard and the back,
right,
but still be able to get a pretty smooth replacement binding.
yes, yep.
Okay, well, more tedium. It can't be as bad as the scraping, though.
No,
I mean, I was doing some of that scraping one day, and I just found it really mind-numbing.
It is. Fortunately for me, I have this little obsessive part of my personality that sort of gets into that stuff after a while. I know I complain about it, but I really don't mind doing it.
It's why you were so good at sailing boats.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. High tolerances for boredom. Long periods of boredom interspersed with brief moments of total confusion. That's...
So, you want to talk about what's been happening here?
Well, we tried brushing lacquer on the bindings to start the building process, and it turned out that the glue that we used, the Canopy glue, left a kind of gummy residue along the edge of the adhesion point. And so when we started to try to clean the lacquer up, it just flaked off. So then we decided we'd try to use some CA glue. What's the name of that stuff?
Glue Boost.
Yeah, Glue Boost, to try to build it once we cleaned up the edge, to build up the transition between the original finish and the bindings, and it was kind of a plus minus thing. I guess it did some good, but I'm really not knocked out about it. So now what we're going to do is try a more conventional approach, which is to actually take a spray gun and spray lacquer onto the areas around the binding, start to build it that way rather than with a brush or whatever. And then at some point we'll peel this paper away and either work some more lacquer out further afield or not, depending on how well it all rubs out and how it looks, which is, I think, you want to try to preserve the original finish as much as you can. You don't like to put lacquer on top of the original finish, but on the other hand, we need to have a decent looking transition between the new bindings and the original finish, or why did we bother putting the new bindings on? So
Other than that, the old ones were falling.
yeah, other than right, yeah, I was just thinking that too. Of course, it could be because the old bindings weren't there anymore. But I mean, you know, you want it to look reasonably acceptable. So that's that's where we're at. So we're doing a little bit of taping off just so we don't get overspray everywhere. But we're not getting really crazy about it because we're probably going to have to do a fair amount of rubbing at some point. So the guitar will be, you know, if there is any little bit of overspray here or there, it'll be rubbed out when we do the buffing process. So,
Huge job.
yeah, it's a real big
But
job. I can see
everything is smooth now.
Yes, yeah, that's nice, and I think
That's
that
really good.
in the final analysis, I think that's really the way we need to go, is to just get, because we had a really kind of chunky surface because the finish fractured when we were removing the old bindings, and so we had all these pits and things, and that was just not working. So now we have a reasonably smooth surface, so we shouldn't have to like put tons of lacquer on the bindings in order to be able to have a workable surface. So that's where we're at. So we're gonna, Gary set up an area over by the spray booth, and we're gonna fire up the gun and squirt some lacquer on it and hope everything goes just okay.
Yeah.